people wanted to kind of back off. I expect it to come back next year, but for now, at least it's dead, so some good, some bad in that. But you can, like I said, expect to see something later. Chamber of Commerce had a very successful event for St. Patrick's Day. It was a good event. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. The weather was good. That helped a lot. Project updates. We've got the pre-cons for this year's projects. Actually, the water main was laid today out in the northeast part of, over here to loop into Linden Manor. Obviously, it's not 100% done with that, but it's a pretty simple project. They're working on a few other things there. The water main between Commerce, the liquor store parking lot, we've got notices out for that. So there'll be some postings going up on the city website, too, to update people. Local sales tax changes, that's something that, we've talked a little bit in the past about. Met with Compass. They had a good audit, good clean audit this year, and I'm expecting to see capacity numbers from the MISO auction on the 26th, possibly a little earlier than that, but that'll be interesting to see how it goes this year. And then I have a couple other things that aren't on my report there. Just want to highlight, so we posted the utility billing specialist position. We're taking applications. We'd like to start interviewing. We'd like to have an authorization to offer a job, which we would still come back to council for approval of the position, the person, on the 10th. Obviously officially the approval, but we'd like to be able to offer that to them ahead so that we have an idea, so we get something started as soon as possible. So that's what I'm looking for tonight, would be authorization to go ahead and offer that job when we have a finalist selected.
So do you need like a motion for that?
Yeah, a motion will be fine. Otherwise, if you just tell me you're comfortable with that, I'm fine with that too. It's just a matter of, with this way we have it structured, I don't really have the authority to just offer it to somebody without council's approval, so.
Anybody opposed to that?
No, I'm in
This
favor.
would just be an offer contingent on our final approval.
Yeah, it'd be an offer, contingent on final approval, background check, all the normal caveats would apply, but I'd just like to be able to say, hey, we're offering it to you, possibly even next week, and then they can give their notice, and then we can kind of have final approval on the 10th and they get started.
And this is for the utility billing position?
Utility billing specialist position, that's right. Yeah, we've had quite a few applications so far. I think we've got over 30 applications right now, so a lot of interest. Some of them are better than others, but I'm not sure if that's a sign the economy is weakening a little bit, but no, I think it'll be a good position to get filled. A couple other things, just HR wise. I know I've been trying to update you a little bit on where the city clerk is at. My expectation is that we may need to do an internal promotion for a temporary city clerk, just to fill that job. And we do have, some people who could possibly do that, who are already kind of doing some of that work. I think it would be fair to them if we're expecting them to do that kind of work to get the compensatory aspect of it as well. They don't have a recommendation tonight, but I do want to let you know that's kind of looking at. And then I was able to negotiate with Tyler, so we are going to defer that project for up to a year. So, just because we don't have the man hours right now, so we're not going to cancel it entirely. We still want to do a transition, but we are going to defer it, and they aren't going to charge us for that. So that's a plus too. And the other thing I was going to ask about is last year we did do the No Mow May, and I'm not sure if we want to do it tonight or I don't know. I think right now with the weather forecast, I think it may be necessary to do the mowing this year. So I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I just read something where they're saying that it's not a good thing to do that. Now
Sure.
they're having issues, but you're gonna have that no matter what.
Yeah.
If people don't wanna mow, if it doesn't hurt nothing, I don't care.
I mean, the city's still gonna mow, right?
Yeah.
City's already been
We're
mowing.
mowing probably already.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna be-
It's not May yet, so technically
Any
speaking,
That's right.
there you go.
if they didn't mow in a timely manner, correct?
Right.
Yeah, if somebody, we're not gonna find anybody in May if they don't wanna mow.
I'm going home to finish my second mowing tonight.
So, all right, fair enough, sounds good. I just wanted to check before, we don't have another meeting for a couple days. Then I included in your packet, I've got the first quarter financials. So those are interesting. You can see we're, generally speaking, right at kind of our 25% for the expenditure for the salaries, which is always the best gauge of where we're at year to date, because sometimes other expenditures come in chunks, so it doesn't always show that. But when you're, I look for 25% through the first 3 months of the year. That's a pretty good gauge. And then we've got a fire hall update as well. The mayor was asking me a little bit earlier about the schedule there. I think that the move back into the fire hall will be happening in May, and then I'm hoping to see we'll probably do a grand opening maybe in June. They're going to be doing landscaping. They got the sidewalk laid on the west side this week, so that'll be nice to see that. And then they get the sod or the grass seed that's going to be going down in different parts of it. They have to finish the bitumen, a second lift in the front, and then the parking lot part of it. And there's some things that there are about 4 outstanding items inside that they're either waiting on manufacture, or they're just items that are taking a lot longer, because in one case, there's a fan in the vestibule that the original spec fan was discontinued last fall, and they've actually had 3 different products they've selected been discontinued, so they're basically down to trying to find one that'll fit in the box that was built for this fan. So, small item, but it's definitely slowing them down a little bit, so. But it shouldn't prevent the fire department from moving their big equipment back in. I know the Public Works folks are looking forward to that as well, so. I think those are the only other things. The other thing I was gonna mention, well, I think that's it actually tonight, so.
Okay. Any questions for Tim? Comments?
Did you hear, Tim, that wastewater water treatment training, for that SEML was working on, is moving forward, and they hope maybe this year might even get funding?
I've been trying to follow that, and I think with all the breaks they've had, I haven't seen a final conclusion on that.
They were still waiting on the state, but the state has moved it forward.
Okay.
So
Well, I mean, that's exciting, be
So
nice
maybe that'll help down the road
Southeast here
for...
for recruiting and stuff. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thanks. Anybody else? Okay, thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. On to the budget status update, which you went through a little bit of status update on that. Library recommendation. Personnel.
Well, so include in your packet, and certainly you can talk about it a little more, Mel, if you'd like to. Include in your packet, you have a letter from the chair of the library board. The library board is making a recommendation for a director. It's their current acting director, Mr. Greenfield, has been with the city for several years in different capacities, and I've had good discussions with him. I think he's certainly a very qualified employee, and they're recommending that he be authorized to start as the new director.
We're super impressed with how quickly David was able to get everything squared away after the departure of the last director, and repair things that needed fixing after her departure. So, yeah, we think he's a perfect candidate, and we're thrilled that we can offer him the position, and he's contingent on us.
Yep.
Oh. It just says in here, the rate of pay is first step listed. Do you know what that...
Sure, I'll look that up
Step
real
in.
quick. I think it's 3410, but I will just check quick.
Curious.
It is, oh boy. Yeah, 3419 actually in 2024, so that'll be the step, and it actually doesn't represent any change from Michelle's, so it would be the same that she would have been at, because she was still on step 1, so not a huge budget savings for the library, but, it is what it is, so.
So is the library gonna be looking to replace his previous position?
Yes, we will be at some point, because right now they are definitely short-staffed, and they are all working nonstop to get everything done that needs to be done. I think at this point, the one thing that is lagging is getting some of the newer books cataloged and shelved, simply because David is the only one that can do that. And while he's doing all of the other director responsibility, that was one of the big things he did in his last position.
Okay.
We're very optimistic that we can find someone to fill that position as well.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion
I'll make a motion.
to approve. Thank you very much. I figured that, but let's just get it for the record. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Ryan. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Correspondence is the fire hall update. We had that. Anything else anybody else has? Comments, questions?
I just had someone tell me it's not professional to wear a hat, so I apologize if I've been doing that ever since I started. So I do apologize if that's offended anyone. I won't do that anymore.
Thanks, Ryan.
Oh,
Gotta
one
keep
other
everybody
thing
happy.
One other thing I did email out and ask a question. So obviously, light content meeting tonight, looking at the possibility of going to just one meeting a month for the summer months. So what's the feedback from council on that? Obviously, if we have the content, we'll have a meeting, but if we don't, what I was looking at possibly doing is possibly just doing the second meeting of the month in May, June, July, and August. what we'll do is the financials, we would still process those as we normally would, and those will be emailed out to council for review, and then 2 sets of financials will be approved at that second meeting of the month. So if there are any questions, obviously, we could answer them there, but just, some of the other cities in the area do 1 meeting in the summer, so it's not unusual, and this is the first year we haven't had a ton of projects where we've had to have meetings, so.
So when you say you prepare the financials twice a month, email the first set out for review, would those bills still get paid?
Yes.
Or they wouldn't have to wait till the,
Yeah, no, they'd still be paid.
Okay.
Yep.
just so we aren't waiting on our payables, because
Nope, we
Right.
wouldn't be waiting on any
That's
payables.
the
Nope.
same question I had for him, is when I called him.
I have no, I mean, if we don't have something for our business meeting, then there's really no need to meet. So, that's my opinion, but if we have something, we should meet.
Unless there was a public comment.
But if we publish and state that we have 1 meeting a month, then they can still contact.
They can still contact us or come to the meeting.
Yeah, 'cause all our emails and phone numbers are listed on the website,
Sure.
and they can contact the city too of it.
So having it be the second, fourth Wednesday of the month rather than second Wednesday of the month would allow us to capture all of anything that happens at P and Z or any of the other.
That's right, all the
EDA,
meetings, you know, that's one of the reasons I was looking at the second meeting, is because you'd have all the other EDA, all the other meetings to be done for the month already, so.
Would we be able to do May if you interview somebody and want to hire them?
You know, and that might be one of the reasons to do a meeting
You
right
may-
away in May,
may-
right? No, I mean, realistically, you're right, so I'm not sure, I'm just putting it out there, you know, and really maybe June, July, and August, maybe we just focus it then. But I mean, like even tonight, we're looking at 15 minutes, and that's because I've talked for about 5 of it already. Otherwise, it'd be done. But, I don't want to waste anybody's time either, you know, if we don't need it. But yeah, you're right, we'd probably have somebody on the 8th, we probably would have a meeting then.
So we probably should meet both times
Yeah,
in May.
probably both times in May, and then starting in June, maybe June, July, and August.
Okay.
And then we could post that out in,
Yeah, we'd make sure it's posted and everything, yep.
Now, you could do a special meeting, to hire somebody.
Sure.
And you wouldn't maybe need them,
you just have, 3-day notice?
but, I mean, I think an emergency supervisor, I'd have to look at the.
I think it's typically 3 days unless it is an emergency, and I don't know if hiring would qualify as an emergency, probably not, so.
As long as nobody's going out of town or something like that, you know, I don't know what everybody's calendars is like, tax season is.
We're not gonna try to coordinate everybody's calendar for emergency meetings yet. How about we meet, right now, we plan on meeting that first one in May and the second one in May. If you can't get somebody hired by then, and that's the only thing that was gonna be on the agenda, then we can always cancel it.
That's
Yeah.
true, right.
But let's plan on that, because otherwise we'd have to be waiting another 2 weeks to approve that hire, and you're gonna wanna know.
No, I'd like to, I think we will have somebody on the 8th, for sure, for final approval from council.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, starting the interviews already, I mean, we want to make sure we move forward on that, because of all the staffing and manpower issues we've had at City Hall with Linda being out, it's important for us to have that, you know, gearing up and doing some training and stuff like that, so.
Okay. So plan on 2 meetings in May, and then pretty much 1 June, July, August, unless something comes up
Right.
between now and then.
That makes sense, yep.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good, okay. All right, thanks, Tim. With that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Dan, do I have a second? Second. Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody, have a great night.
Thank you.
Sure.